worlds, whatever you want to call. So we are all immersed and connected. Wow. How do I jump into their realm and how do they jump in on mine? Depending on what we are attracting, depending on what we are thinking, depending on what we are doing. Although we do not necessarily see each other, sadly, if you are a medium and you have the clairvoyance, faculty, yes, you are the type of medium that sees spirits, but not all of us do. Not everybody does, but that doesn't mean that we are not surrounded by this crowd of beings. Is that clear? Because what we hear out there is that, oh no, spirit stuff is just for who is medium, who deal with those things. Well, I have to give you the bad news that it's not. They are with all of us. You are medium, you are a little more sensitive, you are not, they are with us. Now, so we don't shock anybody, the purpose is to also emphasize that we're not talking only about spirits that want to harm us or spirits that just are not doing anything good for anybody, but we are also talking about good spiritual companions that it's also with us. So that's the good part of it. So when you go to give you a quick example, when you go to a club, for instance, I don't go clubs anymore. It's been a while. But forever, we used to. Everybody's crowd, the crowd is dancing and, laughing and drinking, whatever. In that crowd, there are people of different levels of morals, of character, of behavior, good, bad, so. And that's what the spiritual realm is. So we cannot have the illusion of thinking when we talked about, the spiritual world, that is this beautiful thing, this subtle thing filled with angels. Yes, there are layers and layers in the spiritual world, a lot of places, a lot of dimensions, if you can call. There are beings that are very evolved, but there are some they are not, which is majority, in our case, living in a planet where we have a lot of trials and things to overcome. So majority of what we can call our groups of affection, our spirit is still in progress. The spirits there are still in progress. Some of them are not necessarily evil, but they might not be doing anything good. Just like when you look around us, right? Planet Earth, our jobs, our homes, our circle of friends. We have people at different levels, at different characters. That's not different in the spiritual world. Is that clear? Because the difference between them and us is the physical body. That's it. Because we also have to be careful when we look for a place or when we talk to a medium, those things, the spirit is telling me. Well, the spirit, I am a spirit. You are a spirit. Any of us can say whatever. So it's not because it's a spirit that we don't see that is necessarily an entity that is that evolved. Right? So this is just to give a little introduction. But just to clarify, I used those main resources for this talk today from the Spirits book, The Intervention of the Spirits in the Corporeal World. I invite you all to check that part of the book. And this book, it's not translated yet to Portuguese, but my rough translation could be Liberating Directions, Liberating Paths, whatever you want to call. And there is a message in this book that I use for this talk, which it's called Spiritual Witnesses. That's why we are talking about that. So let's see what we have here. So as I mentioned at the beginning, there is always someone by our side. And when I say that, I don't mean that there is a spirit. This is just a picture, right, to illustrate, but it's not necessarily a spirit giving hands to us, because we also have the impression that our spiritual protector, our spiritual benefactor, is babysitting us. And that's not the case. Yes, when we need them, we can say a prayer, we can think about them. Yes, they are always ready to come to our help, to come to our assistance, to celebrate joyful times with us, believe it or not. As a matter of fact, I have a very great time last week. Something I could not believe was happening to me. And I heard, great job, you really deserve that. We are happy for you. The first time, I'm like, wow, I didn't think that they would say something when I was having a good time too. And they do. They do. But they also come to the rescue when we need them. Right? So in this case, what Joanna de Angelis wants to tell us is that there is always someone with us. But I live alone. Well, I have to let you know, if you go back home today, remember, I'm not saying that there is a spirit at your house trying to, scare you, none of that, okay? But we are not alone in terms of atmosphere, of interconnected worlds, okay? So she explains that based on our mental plans, based on our ideas, we all think, we all create things, right? We all have plans, things that we wanted to do. This conditional mind will lead us to communities, to groups of people that are also open to those interests. So yes, I'm going to take a course. I'm not going to do a course on something that I don't like necessarily. I'm not going to enjoy a meetup group for art if I don't enjoy art. That's the same thing in the spiritual realm. As we think, as we act, as we plan, we are attracting our little spiritual group. Is that clear? So right now, great, we are attracting a crowd of folks that are really interested in this that we are talking about tonight. People that are trying to improve themselves just like we are, and good spirits that are interested in this type of a conversation. If the conversation is switched gears, we're going to have beings interested in that type of a conversation, in that type of thought. Correct? Is that clear? So, she also says that attitudes attract those who are similar in tastes, in likes and dislikes. So, that means we are surrounded by families, by friends. A family is a little bit more delicate because we are sometimes in a group of people, as we call family, that not everybody, we have the same affection, and that's okay. Spiritism really help us to understand is that that's okay if I don't like my mother as I like my father. That's okay if I don't like one son more than I like the other one. There's no shame on that. There is no punishment on that. This is affinity. This is story. This is connection, and that's okay. The point is what we are doing in that environment. Am I cultivating hate? Am I trying to love? Am I trying to respect? Right? That's what makes the difference. So in this regard, depending on what we plan, what we think, our ideas, we are attracting this community, spiritual community around us. That is going to connect to us based on our interests. So, not to scare anybody, but I am home, right, at midnight, watching a war movie. Okay? I really have to tell you that your spiritual benefactor is not sitting down with you watching the war movie. who is going to perhaps maybe sit down or get, connected to your mental state or to that type of content are spirits that are interested in that type of content. Now, is that wrong to watch a war movie? No, I'm not here to tell you do or not do. Spiritism doesn't condemn anything. The point is for us to be aware that whatever we see, whatever we hear, whatever we deal with, that's the crowd that is surrounding us. Oh, but I can't do anything because my wife likes to do those things. Well, yes, it's hard because it's the same environment. But you can always get over, mentally speaking, say a prayer, tune into something else, right? It is possible in the same house. But this is not the case only. We are talking about, oh, this is just bad stuff, so let me just take care of what I'm doing during the day. Not necessarily. We always have to remember that when we are doing the totally opposite, looking for things that are going to enlighten ourselves, looking for things that are going to improve ourselves or to help others, the spirits that are interested in that type of activity will always going to be with us. So that's great. So if I decided to switch the channel for something else, I was going to have to attract minds that are interested in that something else. So everybody is capable of doing this, right? It is wrong to do it. I cannot see horror movie. No, you can do whatever you want. My point here and the message is for us to be aware that the vibe that comes from that content, that is the one that's going to be surrounding you and me. But that's okay. We can do whatever we want, right? Let's just not be so radical and say, oh my gosh, I'm doing all wrong. No, there's not right or wrong. There is responsibility. There is consciousness, right? Or what is surrounding us. So she's going to tell us that there are unseen witnesses throughout our journey on earth that observe, records our good and bad deeds. One day, they will reveal themselves to our conscience, bringing either sweet consolations or harsh accusations. So here's the thing. The good and the bad, it's being watched. There is no escape, which is a great thing because, okay, I'm going to screw it up in a little bit here, but they are also seeing what I'm doing that is great, observing and recording. So every good that we do for ourselves, to others, doesn't matter. And I'm not talking here about charity, guys, only. You are doing the good to yourself today, coming here in a Thursday night, instead of be doing whatever out there, who knows what, right? That a lot of people are doing out there. This is a good thing. And they are watching us. Folks that are not interested in this, that want to see me and you going downhill, are not going to be around right now. This is great. So that comes to our choices, what we are doing, right? The one day they review themselves. Why this? Because it's not that God allows us, those spirits, to be doing nothing, just checking on us. Because that would be, no, it's not that. It's a attraction. So imagine me with a lot of debt, right? Spiritual debt from past lives and a lot of things that I may have done. Folks that are surrounding me, waiting for me to fall, right? Are seeing me trying to do something good, something different than I was doing. They are observing that. And guess what? They are probably saying, what? You? No, it's impossible. And what happens? More trials, more harsh, more difficult to really see if I'm really overcame who I was. And that's why it's so hard. Some people tell, oh, I started to go descend and it looks like my life is downhill. No, That's because you were being tested to see where is your persistence in doing good for yourself. So that's why you have to force it and come, and no matter what's happening out there. Because the obstacles are going to come for you not to do good for you or for the others. That's reality. There are a lot of brothers and sisters in the spiritual realm that does not want us to evolve, to grow, to be happy, because they are unhappy. And my heart goes with them as well, because all I hear sometimes are people looking for help in the spiritual side of things, as far as obsession or, going through a lot of disturbance. Take away those spirits from you. And what you are doing for them not to be around you. That's the point. Because we have to understand that even though this talk is not about spiritual obsession, we have to understand that those spirits also have a sorrow. There is a pain involved in this process. So if they are so eager for us to do evil, for us to hate somebody, they are also hurt somehow, right? So by seeing the way that we act, the way that we think differently, the positive things that we are looking to life, who knows? We may affect them. Not only ourselves, but they may be affected in a positive way. Right? So it's not everything is lost. And that's why God allows this to happen to us. One of the reasons is, we are there and the good spirits are also with us all the time. When you think that they are not, that's because we don't see them. We don't want their presence because we are so desperate. We are so looking to whatever things that don't connect to what they have to offer that we end up not feeling their presence. But they are, right? So in this situation here, nobody's condemning anything. We're just trying to explain that we are being observed. And this is not a threat. This is reality. Okay? So moving on. In the Spirit's book, Allan Kardec asked the spirits the following questions. Can spirits see everything we do? What do you guys think? Yes. Everything? Look, pay attention to the question. Everything we do? Richard say yes. It is sad, right? It's yes. Let's see what they say. They can, because you are constantly surrounded by them. Nonetheless, they see only those things to which they direct their attention. They are not concerned about things that do not interest them. That's why, in a situation like this, if spirits that do not want to look for anything positive in their lives, they are not inside here. They are not in tune with this thing, right? And then you're like, oh, this is great, but how do I know? Well, we are going to know based on what we are doing. So if I'm doing a hobby that I love, I'm feeling joyful, there's a great possibility of spirits that like that energy be surround us and being happy with us and bringing positive atmosphere. If I'm doing other things and they are interested, they're going to connect. It's attraction. We are not calling, Mary, John, come here. I'm watching this tonight. No, it's attraction. Just like we look at the internet, we are attracted by a news. They are linked to depending on their interest, right? So, but the good thing is that they are not concerned about things that they don't care. That means if we want to be free from obsession, for instance, there are things we can do to help that out, right? Oh, but I can't. Yes, it gets to a point where the person cannot do much by himself or by herself, and he needs help initially. But it gets to a situation where that person has to wake up and start changing the way it acts, what it thinks, and start paying attention, right? To find strength. And here it's no kidding, because like Richard said, yes, they can, and we are constantly surrounded by them, but not all of them are going to know, because it's going to be based in what? In the attraction, in what is interesting. So see, there's a ways for us to close those doors or open those doors for the good ones to be around us too. It's now, the power is in our hands, right? So can spirits know our most secret thoughts? What do you think? Most secret, that's the key. That's a hard one, huh? That's yes or no? You guys think yes? All right. You should do a Jeopardy game here, right? And then see. That would be nice. They often know about what you would like to conceal, even from yourselves. Neither actions nor thoughts can be concealed from them. Guys, this is so sad, because there is stuff in our lives, in our thoughts, that we don't even know about us, and they do, sadly, right? Even the things that we want to hide from ourselves or from everybody else. And great, it's great. People complain, oh, life is this, life that. Guys, it's great to be reincarnate, because you guys are not seeing who I am. I'm just guys under this body. In the spiritual realm, believe me, all this is the reality is gonna kick, and people are gonna see us like an X-ray. So the advice is, let's start to, seeing what we're doing and thinking and acting right now, because there will be no way to conceal, because right now we are not concealed from those spirits that wanted to check it out. And the good spirits also, this is a great thing, when we kind of, we made our mistakes, we do a lot of things that are not right, they are always seeing the good side on us. This is also great. And the spirits that do not want us to do any well, they are also saying, wow, she is going to mess up today. Let's watch out so she doesn't help that person, because she's almost melting her heart down for that person. They are seeing that. There are things that we cannot conceal. So if we cannot conceal, I guess everything is lost. And so whatever, so if we already know we cannot hide. So what do we do with that, right? Let's put something out there that can benefit ourselves and others. Let's make our mistakes and understand that we made the mistakes. Quite often, I don't hear voices, okay? I'm not in that level yet. I'm not going to say that cannot happen, but who do you think you are? You doing that? Who do you think you are? And I don't talk to them. Because I know this is like intrusions thought. I'm like, you know what? I'm nobody. But one thing I know, I'm trying to become better each day. Every little step. I'm nobody. I'm nothing good. But I'm trying, and I know exactly that I'm going to make a mistake tomorrow, after tomorrow, and every single day maybe. But the thing is to recognize when things are not doing well, right? So here, there is no way for us to, okay, I'll give an example. Richard is my friend, so he won't take that bad. But for instance, if I'm here speaking to you and I don't like Richard, but he doesn't know, you guys don't know, and I don't like him, the spirits that are here, they know I don't like him. Understand? It's okay not to like him. Yeah, it's okay. We don't like everybody. I always say that on my lectures. I mean, this is hypocrisy if we say that we like everybody the same, and we don't. But the problem is, what do I do with that? Understand that? So it's okay. We don't have to like everybody. We don't have to love everybody the same. But what type of energy I'm sending towards him? What is my thought towards him? You understand that? And that's when those interventions, those crowds of friends started to surround us. So if I look at him and say, wow, I don't really like him, but I'm going to try to be polite. I'll respect him. I think he's an intelligent person. And start to bring some positive to that situation. we don't have any negative links. Understand that? So it's not a matter of being perfect and doing everything right all the time. It's a matter of, what do I do when I make a mistake? What do I do when I have that thought that I don't want to see that person anymore? Where that is going, right? That's what we need to pay attention. So here, it comes to the point where I'm trying to bring. Joanna DeAngelis in this message, she's going to say that there are people, and I was so thankful that she didn't say most of the people, but I think probably that's what she meant. She just said there are people that have two types of behavior. There are people out there, none of us, right? The public and the private. This is cruel, isn't it? When I was reading this message, I'm like, I can't believe she's going to say that. She had the courage to say that to us, to help us, not to point fingers, but to help us. So, yes, we have two types of behavior. The person you're seeing here, unfortunately, a total disgrace tonight. My husband's sitting down here and he knows what my private behavior is. It's not what you're seeing here. Okay? We all know that. What's the point? Disguise, pretend it doesn't exist? No. The point is, okay, here at the center, I am surrounded by an atmosphere of loving beings, that doesn't give me any triggers. Well, believe me or not, I had triggers at the center too, but I try not to. So, the environment helps me a little bit, yes. But out there, I have my moments. We all do. And what do we do with that? Well, what we do, we pay attention. We just pay attention what's going on. I'm super irritable person. I lose my temper really fast. I'm very sensitive. I have to think about that. Where's my level of tolerance is going, right? I have to think about that. Some people are very nice at work, polite, everybody, respect, and at home, it's a monster. We have to think about that. Because the crowd is not going to change, oh, I'm good, I'm not good. No, they know that the person that is here right now is not the same person that I might be at home or when I'm putting in a situation or that I know really is going to push my buttons. They know. So it's up to us to understand, to know ourselves what is our limit, when we can, to say the least, when we might screw it up here and there, and be aware and say, okay, today I went over. I shouldn't have done that. Notice, okay, I went over. I did too much. I shouldn't have said such a things. I shouldn't have behaved like that. Shouldn't have been so harsh, so cold, whatever you want to say. But you recognize that. It's great. So it's not this idea, I did something, bad spirits are around me. No, that's not the point. It's to recognize when things are not doing well, right? And the point that Joanna DeAngelis brings here is the following. We are all, polite and noble and happy and soft and all that. Out there, we do whatever. I'm giving an example, not saying you do or I do. In all sorts of life, you can call vices, you can call addiction, you can call any type of situation, relationships. There's no minors in here, so I can say. So the fact that the spirits are observing us, going back to the beginning, right? So we don't have privacy. No, we don't. There's no privacy. There's no privacy. Oh no, then I know what you guys are thinking. So when I'm taking a shower, are they checking on me? Because that's something you have to think, right? Depends. What are you thinking? You're taking a shower thinking that they're gonna say a lot to your boss tomorrow. There's a great possibility that they'll be watching you taking a bath and putting more thoughts for you to instigating you to take that action. Good spirits don't have time for that, to be dealing with this. Oh, but in my relationship, when I'm in my intimate moments, are they checking on me? Depends. If you sleep with 50 people, take everybody's feelings over the trash, guess what? You're going to be surrounded to a crowd that is interested in that situation. So yes, they're going to be watching and participating, believe it or not. The sad part, because when we go to the other side of life, we don't stop drinking in 24 hours. We don't stop saying bad things about others in 24 hours. We don't stop addictions in 24 hours. We continue doing the same things. And what's going to happen? We are going to look for people that are doing this, what we used to like. Sometimes it's not even bad spirits, guys. Our brothers and sisters that left this body and are so in need of things that we like, they might not be good for us or for them. They are so addicted to it that they are going to join us, even without knowing. Not necessarily, oh, I'm going to look for Mary because Mary, no, not sometimes, yes, it's a process, but sometimes. So I have to give you the sad news tonight. The sad news is, I'm not condemning anybody, but we don't drink alone, number one. Oh, I cannot drink one beer a week. And I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that one beer, you're going to have a crowd surround you. But one beer today, one tomorrow. And at the same time, I pretend that I have my limits, but I don't. We have companies. Understand that? Any type of addiction, any type, but I don't do those things, right? Because some people say, I don't do those things. I don't drink. I don't use drugs. This is not for me. Oh, it's not. How? It's your speech. How do you talk about others? What is your thought? Everything. How much food do you have to eat to cover your feelings? Because it's an addiction, right? Some people are addicted to food. And guess what? People that pass to the other side that were addicted to food, they need to continue that process if they haven't got any help yet. So they're going to look for those environments. Same thing. So if you go to a bar, and that's okay. We can go to a club, to a bar. You can do whatever you want. Nothing is prohibited. The point is to bring awareness that you are not doing that alone. So if you are in a bar, yes, sometimes you have to go to events, right? You can't escape that. But you have to understand that your guard, your spiritual guard, has to be intact. I'm not saying we shouldn't drink, shouldn't do anything. No, it's not that. You have to be aware that there is a crowd over there of brothers and sisters that are enjoying that type of environment. And I need to be aware, right? And that's okay. And when we bring to our house, it's even more critical because they can even find our house as a place to live. Am I lying? No, right? Wow, every night they watch horror movie, and this is what I love it. Guess what? Your sofa is not only yours anymore. But I watched one time in a year and I was petrified. I pray and say, oh, maybe they just left. But you know what I mean? So the same time when I do something that is enlightened for me, I have good company. And if I did something, I passed the point a little bit, we can call for help. Tonight, I went a little bit over and, I always play with people. I don't drink. That doesn't mean I don't have reasons for it. But, you choose what you wanted to do. Everybody can do everything. But it's not everything that's good for us. And the point tonight is for us to understand that depending on what our choices are, is the spiritual companion that we attract. Right? So is that clear? This one, the private. I don't want to go much into this because I think all of us may have an idea what is our private behavior and what is our public behavior. That's not the point for us to to be saying things here to make anybody like uncomfortable, but we have to understand that they are observing us. So in my private behavior, which not necessarily is always kind and nice, I need to pay attention when I was a little bit too much. That's all it takes for us to know ourselves, to try to improve and recognize when we can do differently next time. Do spirits have any influence on our thoughts and actions? What do you think? Yes? By this time, we're saying yes to whatever, right? Okay. Their influence on you in this regard is greater than you suppose, for very frequently it is they who guide you. So the influence is even more than we think about it. And if we let it go, they might take control. Not take control of our body, take our body away and start doing things. No, of our thought. How do I know it's my thought or it's the spirit's thought? Well, you know what? That's why we have to know ourselves. I'm here with you today, and all of a sudden I start thinking, I don't like Valdo. He's like this, he's like that. All of a sudden, that intrusive thought coming, there's nothing to do with my day, with my situation. I have to be alert. Right? Things like that you kind of feel that it's not you. You were there with your wife, and all of a sudden you look at it, how do I marry this woman? Out of nowhere, and yesterday, and it's a good thing that he's laughed, how do I marry this woman? Out of nowhere. Be careful, right? And there's all the situations we can think at work, everywhere, right? And when we are not certain what we do, we take a step back. Take a step back. If you have the habit of prayer, you say a prayer. If not, go for a walk, do a meditation, do something to take you out of that situation to see if this really have some sense in your thought right now. That's always a way of doing. There's a way to do that. That's possible. So here, a quick example. I will just play in my daily life, but it's not. So based in our conduct, the way that we act, we will attract the spirits from the spiritual realm. We saw that, right? So this is just a scenario. Forget the phone. That can be at your job, at my job, whatever situation with your spouse. It doesn't matter. I get the phone. Somebody is saying stuff for me, right? Being rude, whatever the situation. Or my order was delayed, or the product's not going to be delivered, whatever. They're not going to refund me, whatever you want to say. I have a choice. At that moment, I have a choice, right? We all do. I can say whatever I want at that phone and send that vibe to that person. My friends show up. Or I can take a deep breath and think, just giving a few examples. You know what? Maybe that person is not having a good day. Maybe she's going through a lot. Let me calm down, see how I can think about this and call again, whatever it is, the situation. Another companion show up. And this is a back and forth in our everyday. This scenario here, my friends, is no joke. It's not comic book. This is reality. I thought, well, let's see, your thought for today, my thought for today, what it was. At the end of the day, we can see ourselves in several situations. And remember when I said about the intrusion, right, the thoughts, sometimes we think about, wow, this person may have a bad day. You know, I shouldn't have said things like that. And all of a sudden we hear, you should say more. You can take this home. You have to put yourself up there. And then we started getting into conflict to the point that we don't know what is us, what it's not, what is my thought, what it's not. That's the situation. So I'm not blaming on these spirits, okay? What I'm saying here is depending on what we are doing, what we are thinking, what our choices are, the companion is going to be around us. Simple like that, right? You take as you need. So in the question 484, That's one of the best questions, I think. Allan Kardec asks if the spirits, connect to us, prefer certain persons. If it's true affection, like, okay, the spirit of John looked for me today specifically. Look what the spirit says. Good spirits sympathize with moral individuals, so those who wants to improve themselves. So listen to that carefully, because we also have the notion that the good spirits just stay with people that are already good. No, they are closer to us. They know when the person, even that wants to scream and curse the other, is trying to improve themselves. So they get affected. They have connection with us. In the contrary, the low order spirits, what do? They look for individuals. They are easier to fall into the trap of evil, of not good enough, of not making the best of themselves. So good spirits are also looking at Mary here, whatever the name, and saying, she even had that thought of not screaming at the person over the phone, but then she ended up screaming. So they are looking into our efforts every time we go through situations like that. And this is the beauty of it. So the affection is not a matter, I'm an imperfect spirit, so only those folks are going to be around me. No. It's about what we are doing. Right now, I can guarantee to you 100% that my spiritual obsessors are not here with me today. And if they are sitting down somewhere else, because they are not allowed in this type of environment, right? Because my mind is not open for that. But to the point that I get into an atmosphere, in a situation, in a vibe that they have connection to it, then the game changes. Is that clear? Okay, so moving on. Is the affection of the spirits for certain persons exclusively moral? What do you think? No? True affection has nothing carnal about it. But when a spirit is attached to a person, it is not always out of affection. Our remembrance of human passions can have a hand in it. So that goes back to what I said. Not necessarily it's what we did or a connection with the past and that spirit. It's what I'm doing. So if I decided to go out today to a bar and have 50 bottles of whiskey, whoever wants to do that and likes that is going to join me. Sometimes it doesn't have nothing to do with me, with my story, but has to do with what I'm doing. They like what I do. If I go help somebody, spirits that have that intention, it's going to join me. How wonderful is that? And how sad is at the same time, but it's wonderful too. Not necessarily there is a link, there is an affection, there is something on me that is attracting. No, sometimes it's just my human passion, what I like to do. My passion can be something really positive, or it can be something really negative that's going to attract minds that wants the same thing, in a good side or not so good side, right? Let's remember, my friends, the spiritual beings, everywhere, everything you do. It's not, when we talk about the addictions, I know it's a very extreme and delicate topic and a delicate example, because some people are going to say, I don't have this problem, I don't drink, I don't do well. Not because you and me don't do that, we are not better than anybody else that is struggling with this, right? Because if we don't do that, we have other issues. Am I wrong? No. So I may not drink, I may not do any drugs or do anything like so evident that I know is harmful for me, but I may have a very difficult tongue to keep inside the mouth. That's a problem, right? Same thing here. I don't know what I'm doing on the internet, because some people don't do anything, live like a saint, right? But in the internet is another story. I don't need to give examples, right? They are looking into that. This crowd is checking on what we're doing. I pick up a book to read that has something that's gonna, put me into a better state of mind. They are checking. The people that are interested in that is going to join me. Same thing when I'm helping somebody. In any situations, when I'm desperate, but I say a prayer, I ask for help. And sometimes, my friends, the prayer is, I don't know what to do. Please help me. And that has such a powerful thought and a powerful energy that you might be surprised that your prayer of 10 minutes didn't get you that help that fast than this one that you did with so much power and so much intention. So the same way, they come in desperate moments. They come in situations where we least expect to help us. And they also come in situations that we least expect. In a party like that, who knows what people are doing? I'm not saying parties are bad. Please, don't leave this place think that we are condemning anything. But there are people and there are people. There are environments and there are environments. There are conversations and there are conversations. So depending what we are into it, that's what we are surrounded with it, right? So there's one question that Allan Kardec asked, if people can avoid the influence of the spirits that want to harm us. And the spirit says, yes, because they only attach themselves to those who ask them to it through their desires and their thoughts. So it is possible to be selective in this spiritual group. Since we are interconnected anyway, there is no way out there. Like I said, we don't have privacy. So people said, oh, what about your free will? No, you have free will, but you don't have privacy. Free will we have, not privacy. They're two different things. Because people, oh no, so I don't have my privacy, I cannot even choose. No, you can choose. We are just saying here about choices where we can do whatever we want, but we don't have privacy on that. As far as the spiritual movement, right? So to end our talk tonight, how can we protect ourselves, or better, how we can change our companions to people, to beings, to brothers and sisters that want to march with us toward goodness, or the ones that really want to help us? How do we change that? Well, one of the things is focus on the good, right? I screwed up the whole day. I can guarantee to you, in that day, you must have done something right, something positive. Know thyself. Yes, I made a lot of mistakes today, but, I'm recognizing them. Tomorrow might be different. I'm going to try, and I'm going to try, and I'm going to try. The point is to recognize when enough is enough. When I deviate from what I should have been. The other situation is self-knowledge is essential to protect ourselves. So like I said, if you were in a calm, environment, all of a sudden you feel that agitation, it's just enough a text message for you to want to break your house. That cannot be only yourself. We have to take a step back and understand that we are not alone. And I'm saying this with heart. I can talk about this topic by heart because I don't know how many times a day the spirit tries to attack me. I don't know how many times. It's uncountable. I can't even count anymore. The difference is, am I good? No. But I try. Sometimes I fall into the trap, many times. But there are times that I say, why I'm like this? Why I'm feeling this agitation? Why I'm so nervous? Why I'm so irritable all of a sudden? This is so small for me to do that. I have to take a step back. Sometimes I fail. Most of the times I fail. Most of the times I have the energy to say a prayer and ask for the good spirits to join me and maybe try to help them out and give me a little bit of peace at that moment that I need to decide something. But there are days that are hard. And they are going to continue on, mainly because we are attracting them, but also sometimes to test us to see how much good we can still continue persisting on doing good. Because it's hard. How do we acquire virtues? By being tested. How do you pass a year at school? You have to be tested. There's no way to be a tolerant spirit if you don't pass on tests of tolerance. And we all here, we are perfectible beings. We are not perfect yet. So we are trying to improve, baby steps. There'll be ups and downs, right? But the deal is maintain our positive thoughts as much as we can. Everything went downhill today. Everything is bad today. No, not everything is bad. You know why? You got up at the bed. This is great. There are many people that cannot get out of the bed. So this is very positive. Let's try to change our mind a little bit. Switch that thought that brings us down and push us to the ground. Let's just see if we can do it slowly. It's a process, right? It is hard because some of us, the unhappy ones, the unfortunate one, I would say, they are more sensitive to the spiritual presence, is going sometimes to see them or to feel their presence, which I think is a bonus. It's hard, but it's a bonus because at least you feel that some energy is different in the environment. Some people don't even feel anything, and it goes with the flow, right? To help us not to go with the flow, we have to think about those things, focus on the good. If you have the habit of prayer, say a prayer. Think about something positive that happened to you in that day. You name it, right? Switch the music. Put something on a TV that's going to bring some positive to your house. Something that we can do on ourselves. And to end, prayer, it was a question, if prayer makes us better. Well, not necessarily the prayer itself is going to change things in our lives, but it's going to makes us better because it's going to help us getting the strength to change our atmosphere, to change the situations, right, that affect our lives. So when we are going through all this, right, our daily lives, because we're talking about life here, right, nothing good or bad, about life, we can never forget that our main witness is Jesus Christ. In the good and the bad days, he is the one with the power of our Father who's going to say yes or no. Enough is enough. He's our witness. So as much as we try to make it right, to do it right, and things keeps falling apart, he's our witness, right? So with that talk, I hope I didn't make you feel worse than when you came. But my intention here is to bring some awareness in the light of Spiritism, so we can now think about our daily lives, the way that our choices, and choose our spiritual companions. Thank you.